What if you have invested $1,000 in Bitcoin in 2010? Bitcoin is the first and most popular currency in the world. The maximum price increase of digital gold was recorded in December 2017, when the cryptocurrency overcame a maximum of $20,000. However, many do not recall that at the beginning of their existence, BTC coins were worth less than $1. Those who once invested in Bitcoin profitably earned good money. What if you have invested $1,000 in Bitcoin in 2010 and decided that Bitcoin was the way to go? How much money would you have now? Welcome to Limitless. We bring you some of the most mind-blowing videos on various topics, from science to entertainment. If it is interesting, we've got it covered. For an asset often named in tandem with drug trafficking and the dark web just a few years ago, it's hard to imagine that optimism surrounding Bitcoin's potential legitimacy could take the asset to more than $20,000 in value in 2018. And yet, here we are, with the price of Bitcoin up more than 900% in the past 12 months. Bitcoin's early use as a way to buy and sell illegal goods via the now defunct online black market Silk Road was once a defining feature of the cryptocurrency. Now it's just a rebellious phase of the Bitcoin's growth story. Recent interest in Bitcoin from institutional investors has certainly given its narrative a different tinge. Earlier this year, the world's largest futures exchange, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, said it would offer Bitcoin futures due to demand from its clients. Bitcoin investors took it as a good sign. The introduction of futures would, in theory, increase the number of institutional investors in the Bitcoin world, thereby increasing the market's liquidity and stability. Meanwhile, the Nasdaq and Cantor Fitzgerald are also reportedly planning their own Bitcoin futures exchanges. So, what if an investor had gotten in on the Bitcoin bet before the CME decided to offer Bitcoin futures? Well, if you had decided to go onto a Bitcoin exchange and buy some $1,000 worth of Bitcoin in July 2010, the price of Bitcoin then was $0.08 per coin. For $1,000 at that time, you could have purchased 12,500 Bitcoins. As of this moment, one Bitcoin is worth $7,000, meaning that if you were to sell now, you would have made $89 million. Therefore, you would have earned an 8.9 million% profit off of your initial investment. Of course, this means that you would have had to resist the urge to sell them each time Bitcoin jumped in value. Or, on the flip side, resisted abandoning ship every time it dropped. Let's talk about the first transaction made with Bitcoin. So, what was the first transaction ever made with Bitcoin? A software programmer known as Laszlo Hanyecz offered 10,000 Bitcoins for a couple of pizzas. For at least 3 days, no one accepted the offer, with Hanyecz writing, "So nobody wants to buy me a pizza? Is the Bitcoin amount I'm offering too low?" Finally, one of the people on the forum accepted the offer and bought the pizza for Laszlo in exchange for 10,000 Bitcoins. In today's Bitcoin, Laszlo paid $60 million for his pizzas. With this transaction, the most overpriced pizza in the history of mankind was purchased in Bitcoin legacy. Let's talk about one of the successful stories of Bitcoin investing. Eric Finman. Finman grew up in Post Falls, a small town outside of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. His parents met as PhD students at Stanford University. Eric is the youngest of their 3 sons. Eric Finman is the youngest person to become a Bitcoin millionaire. In the past 8 years, he's grown his Bitcoin holdings from about nearly 450 worth about 4.5 million in 2019, and he had an early start. He made his first investment at age 12 and became a millionaire at age 18. In 2012, at the age of 12, Eric Finman bought about $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. In an interview, Finman shared the story of his discovery of Bitcoin. Finman said that his older brother brought him to a protest following the financial crisis of 2008. He recalls running from the police and seeing a man wearing a Bitcoin shirt, and then asking him what Bitcoin was. He's like a hippie. He's like, man, I think it's gonna end Wall Street, all the corruption and all the bad things. That prompted Finman to research the cryptocurrency himself, and he decided, along with his brother, that it was the next big thing. So, Finman used $1,000 from his grandmother, intended for his scholarship fund, to buy around 100 Bitcoins, when each coin was worth about $10 to $12. Finman said, I just spent every day trading to get more after that. For 3 years, I was just basically doing Bitcoin trading in school, and that was about it. Finman hated school. He says one teacher told him to drop out and get a job at McDonald's. In June 2016, Finman posted a throwback to Instagram with a screenshot of an email with the subject line, "Look at me now, B," to his former teacher. The caption reads, I got to send this email to the high school teacher who told me to drop out and work at McDonald's. At age 15, Finman sold $100,000 worth of Bitcoin, founded an education startup, and dropped out of high school. Around 2 years after starting his startup company, Finman sold his company for 300 Bitcoins at age 17. In June 2017, at the age of 18, Finman became a millionaire when Bitcoin's value crossed $2,700, meaning he won his bet with his parents. This video is for entertainment purposes only, so learn about the risks of buying Bitcoin and avoid putting all your investments in this or other cryptocurrencies. While having bought and held on to $1,000 in Bitcoin since 2010 would have been profitable, you would have suffered a lot of stress throughout the process. Do you have any mind-boggling questions that you would like answered? If yes, tell us in the comments section below and we will try to answer the most liked questions in our next videos. Or perhaps you've learned something new or interesting from this video. Then subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get notified on such awesome videos regularly.